Angelo Ruggiero story doesn't stop there. He puts a hit on the old Lucchese boss Casso, correct?
Correct.
Why?
So it was over drugs, and it was over a drug beef, and 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 also, you know, he is going to get the permission from John, because don't forget, you know, he's involved, and they know, you know, the street does its homework. They know where things come from and
Yeah.
whatnot. So, yeah, he puts a hit out on Gaspipe, and he uses this kid, the um what's his name? You mentioned his name, Heidel. Yeah, he
Who's a
puts
nephew of a super
of
yeah.
yeah, I think he was Danny Marino, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he puts this kid on, uh, done in an amateur way. You know what I mean? As you can see, look at the difference between how a hit is supposed to go down and how a bumbled hit goes, and that was a bumbled hit. You know, in the Sparks hit, you could believe. You see, they had shooters all over. They had backup shooters.
Yeah.
They had walkie talkies. They definitely scoped the area out before they did it. They knew which exits they were going to leave, which blocks they were going to leave, what crash cars. They had crash cars. They were set up professionally to do that. Hit went down
Yeah.
like a piece of bread, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, they sent an amateur. You know, you could send anybody with a gun, but that doesn't mean that it's going to get done. And they sent this kid out there, and he didn't get the job done. and that could have been. I mean, look what the end result was for him. They wind up torturing this kid, and he gives Angelo up.
Yeah.
You know,
So what happened after that? So he had to shelve Angelo. He didn't kill him.
well, you got to remember something. Angelo gets shelved as an appeasement because they wanted his head. They want, you know, don't forget, he's putting a hit on another friend, and then and a boss, no less.
Yeah.
So, you know, John Gotti saves Angelo by shelving him. You know, that's you know, he should have got, they should have killed him, but they shelved him for that.
Does it lend itself to the power of John Gotti at that time that he's able to save his friend, or at that time maybe a little weakness of Casso? Because, you know, like I listen to our own podcast, and you talk about rules,
Right.
and they're kind of like an unsanctioned hit on an underboss from another family, which is like a super no-no, bigger than drugs, I assume. So when he got his hand caught in the cookie jar there and he survived, what do you think? A little maybe, but God is strong enough to keep him at bay. Castro's not strong enough. Give us that dynamic. I'm super interested in that.
I mean, you know, what comes into play in that dynamic is that they were very good friends with Vic, and Vic was a gentleman. Gaspipe was a psychopath madman, but Vic was a gentleman. You know, a stone cold killer, tough guy, but he was a gentleman, and they had a good relationship with him as well. So I think that played a big part in it, of how they save Angelo.
Interesting. Now,
also one other thing.
Go ahead.
You know, I am sure that the Frankie DeChico incident comes up where, you know, you took one of our guys that you were looking to kill me, of all people, meaning John, telling them this, and now, all right, you didn't get killed. You know, it was a bumbled hit, but we'll shelf it. You know, you got to remember something, Tom.